Hello, everybody. Sorry to keep you waiting. My boys were supposed to be home, about 20 minutes ago, and they were running a little late, so that made me a little late because as they're looking at me right now as I'm talking, I couldn't go live knowing that they were going to be walking in the door. And then as soon as they pulled up in the driveway, the dogs were barking and it was all crazy. So that is why there was a delay. There were no naps tonight, guys. I didn't take a nap and fall asleep on you. So, there's so many of you guys here. It's good to see so many familiar faces. It's been an interesting day again, right? Hey, Amanda. Yes, reality source. I saw your comment as you were walking out of Walmart. You saw Gannon's father and sister sitting on the bench. I saw your comment here and you said they looked really sad. That's very, very, very sad. Horrible. Hey, Marie. Hey, Jeannie. Thank you, Jennifer. I know, glowing ember, dogs and kids. It's like a zoo around here. But I don't know what I'll do when they're all grown up. Hey, Maui girl. Hi, Antoinette. Aw. Thank you, Aries Art. Aw, thank you. My kids are brats. Hey, Honeybee. Hey, Star Shooters. Is that what you heard, Gina? That's where all the cool kids hang out? That's funny. So I'm going to wait and see if we get a few more people on here before I get started and answer my 10-year-old's question or 11-year-old's question really quick. It's okay. I don't know. You had them last. You had them last. Sorry, guys. Mom duties. Looking for batteries for remotes. Hey, Satin Bee. Yeah, that's what I hear, Tracy Walker. That's what I hear. I think the only thing that won't make me sad is when they grow up and move out and my grocery bills are not through the roof, because let me tell you, feeding boys is expensive, especially football player boys. The older they get, the more they eat, and oh my goodness. So I definitely don't want them to grow up any faster than they already have. Time flies for sure. To show you have a 14-year-old and he eats everything, right? Mine are 16 and 11, and they both definitely can eat like men. So we go through a lot of groceries around here. And yes, my electric bill will go down too, because there won't be Xboxes and TVs and other fancy gadgets running. And hey, it's okay. You need to tell me something, Tambra? Okay. Do you know how to message me on Facebook? Oh, is that what you need to tell me? They always come back? Aw. Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started. There's really no news. No news. Oh, good. You found the batteries. Okay. Anyways, there is, hey, Pink Sugar, there's really no news. Today is day 26. To our knowledge, there are 0 search efforts today. This is the first time, actually, since January 27th that police, El Paso County Sheriff's Office, has not given a daily update on Gannon's case. If they did give one, it has been given in the last 20 minutes. I know that they did update something about fundraisers earlier today, but that was no updates regarding the investigation or anything like that. So, there, as of right now at this moment, unless it came out in the last 20 minutes or so, again, there has been no updates about the investigation today. There has been 0 crime lab activity at the home today. There has, again, been 0 public posts or comments from Tisha yesterday or today. And the fact remains that Gannon is still missing. So, I'm not sure what we're all supposed to think. There are thousands of people watching this case, and there's very, very little information. Unfortunately, for the public, when there's little information given, that's when a lot of speculation begins. It's kind of like a catch-22. You know, the public wants answers because they're concerned, and law enforcement is doing their job. So you have people who come up with these crazy, 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 crazy theories because our minds wander when we worry. And then you have a backlash from that. You know, you'll see comments from family or sometimes even law enforcement about the speculation. So it's kind of hard, I think, to find a balance there because law enforcement isn't giving information, which causes people to speculate. But in the same respect, law enforcement can't give information because that would jeopardize the case. So it's a catch-22 for sure. And I agree with you, Ann Mata. After time, people lose interest. I can't get it off my mind either. It's very hard to cover a case where so little is known. That makes it extremely difficult, because especially when you are a fact-based channel. I mean, of course, we welcome speculation. We look at speculation. We don't often broadcast it, but when you're more of a fact-based channel, it makes it harder to come on here to all of you guys and discuss a case because there's not really much that we can discuss besides the same few things that we know. Greg Smith said, just listening, police should tell us more, arrest the stepmom, or clear her, in my opinion. Think cold case now. I think, you know, in order to arrest somebody, you have to have evidence. And in order to have evidence, you have to collect that evidence. And I believe, I don't know it for a fact, but I do believe that they have collected evidence based off of law enforcement statements. However, that evidence does have to be forensically processed, and it has to be linked to a person. You can't just, law enforcement can't just go arrest Tisha because she had a really, really questionable interview. They can't do that, unfortunately. That's not how it works here. And they can't go arrest Tisha because of statements that she made on social media. It's just, you know, they have to have solid forensic proof, solid evidence in order to make an arrest of anybody. At this point in the game, I don't, you know, I think a lot of us are very suspicious of Tisha, and I think that is a fair assessment based on her behavior and based on her interview and based on the things that she said. Absolutely, that makes her suspicious. But that doesn't mean that we can say that she's guilty of anything. We have to wait for the investigation to play out. We have to wait for law enforcement to do the job, do their jobs, and we have to be patient, and it sucks. It absolutely sucks. I agree with you, car guy. Joe, I agree. Lies, lies, lies. There's lies everywhere across the board. Maui girl, I'm glad that you brought that up. Was it you who sent me the link to that earlier? Maui girl said we can speculate that if Petco has cameras and saw someone take Gannon from the truck, there'd be an Amber Alert, right? Right. I agree with you. I think somebody shared a link earlier. I'm not sure who shared it, but it was actually a link to a video of the actual parking lot where Petco is. And there's cameras out there, I believe. I don't know if they were directly in front of Petco, but still those surveillance cameras catch a lot. They're not just, shot in one area. A lot of them get a broad range spectrum, especially when you get into commercial security systems. So Tisha Renee, am I saying your name right, or is it pronounced Tisha? You wish someone knew about the cameras at Petco and where they're located. I get it. Hey, vegan. So, Joe, the only cameras so far that we're seeing are in front of Kohl's. That's a good question, Dawn. Oops, I don't want that one up there. Let me find it. Okay, so the camera's on the corner of the Kohl's next door to Petco. Yeah, Matt, they did. I mean, it did take a while for Patrick Frazee to be arrested. Arresting a suspect can take time, absolutely. It's not something that happens as fast as what we see on TV. It does take time processing the evidence and all of the above, and you have to consider cell phone pings and phone records and possible GPS locations being pulled from vehicles. That all takes time. Oh, Trina, it was you who sent me the link. Thank you. Sorry. I appreciate it. I know I replied. I've had so many messages today. Yeah, that is interesting, Maui girl. A lot of people have brought that up. That it appears, from what we can tell, that at least Albert is staying in the home. I know when Landon did her interview yesterday, the interview that was shared yesterday, it appeared that she was in a hotel. It looked kind of like what's the one around here? A Hilton. I don't know. They're like mini apartments, and they're fairly reasonable in price, but they have like a kitchenette, and it just looked like she was in a hotel based on the stuff in the background. So, hey, Debbie. Hi, Janelle. Kohl's has parking lot cameras, and this is firsthand knowledge. It would be really interesting to see where those cameras point. Do they also point towards the parking area in front of Petco? That is a good point, Star Shooters. That is a very good point. That Megan Faramuska was caught with Heidi's body in her trunk, and it took a month for her to get capital murder charges. Absolutely. Because every state's different. Some states send everything before a grand jury for an indictment, and other states do not. Other states send it to their prosecuting attorney, who will then bring charges. But Texas is one of those states who sends all evidence in front of a grand jury to bring down an indictment. Hey, Lufa. Yeah. Matt, I didn't. I will honestly say RMT was one of the very few that did not pin it on Shane. I actually pulled his audio from his video and posted a video of that for people to just hear his words instead of looking at his body language. So yeah, a lot of people did pin that on Shane. A lot did. Yeah. I think the difference between Shane and Shane's interview and T's interview, there's quite a few differences. Shane's interview came off as just very unorganized. He seemed uneasy. It just seemed like very poor judgment on behalf of media. That's how I saw it. Because, it looked like it was not well organized. He had somebody talking to him on a phone. He had a camera pointed at his face. It wasn't very organized. He did show emotion. And one thing that Shane did not do is he did not blame anybody in his interview. When you compare that to Tisha's interview, and again, her interview doesn't mean that she's guilty of anything. It doesn't. But when you look at her interview, you have her literally saying law enforcement violated her constitutional rights and a whole other array of things. She victimized herself over and over and over again. You didn't see that in Shane's interview. So yeah, Shane is innocent. We know that. Who are you? What are you talking about, Wendy? We absolutely know Shane is innocent. We have a group for Megan. Oh my gosh, sorry. We have a group that covers Heidi's case and Megan's criminal prosecution and all of that. So, yeah, we have never once said that Shane was guilty of everything and have actually always maintained that Shane was not involved. So, not sure where that comment came from, but let's see. I agree with you, Maui girl. It seems like what law enforcement is not saying is what speaks the loudest. So that brings me to this, actually. I'm glad that you brought that up. These are the questions I have, and these are legitimate questions. I don't mean them with any snark or sassiness or any insinuation towards anybody. These are genuine questions that I came up with today because they are things that are running through my head. In a lot of cases, most cases, actually, when you see a high profile case like this, whether it's a missing child, whether it is a murder case, whether it is just some other kind of criminal case, and there's a victim or a family of victims, a lot of times, and most of the time, you will see a victim's advocate spokesperson who speaks for the family. So that is one of my questions is where is a victim advocate spokesperson for the Stauch family? I think that is something that is on my mind, and I'd like to know where and why there isn't a victim advocate spokesperson speaking for this family. So that's something that we need to maybe take into consideration. Landon had a fundraiser on Facebook that we actually spoke about, and that fundraiser, I don't know if you guys have been following today's post on Facebook. It's been very interesting. But that fundraiser itself raised over $10,000. I want to say it was like $10,300 or something like that. And I openly said to you guys that I could understand why she had a fundraiser. I totally could understand why she had a fundraiser. She was displaced from her home. She's 2,000 miles away from home. Her son is missing. She's not working. I get it. She needs some support. But at the same time, donations are also being requested to the church for the family. So I think it is a legitimate question to understand where those donations are going or what they are, being used for when it comes to the family. I don't know if Albert's working. Maybe that could be something. Maybe something's going, maybe, some of those donations are going to help Albert. I don't know the answers, but I do think these are things that we need to pay attention to. That's just my personal opinion. And then another huge question I keep coming back to is, why doesn't law enforcement want a reward? And why would a billboard hinder an investigation? Besides the false tips. Besides the false tips. I don't understand why it was stated on Facebook today that a billboard would be a hindrance to the investigation of Gannon being missing, and I have a hard time understanding why. So if anybody has any input on that, I'd love to hear it because I want to understand why. I'm not jumping to conclusions, etc. I just want to understand. I that's just something that's very confusing to me, and I'm being genuine. I am being genuine. I am confused about that. I'm very confused. The case of Evelyn right now in Tennessee, that case just happened. Was it late last week, late this week? This case appeared of Evelyn down in Tennessee. There's already a reward over $30,000 for this little girl. So yeah, and I've never. What is an absurd claim? Glowing Ember. Okay, so no, there was never a billboard put up. What happened is Landon's aunt in South Carolina, the same aunt who originated Landon's first Facebook fundraiser that was set at $15,000 goal, a $15,000 goal. I think it was like $10,300 or something like that was raised. And it's now closed, but the same aunt who set up that fundraiser set up another fundraiser. I believe it was set up yesterday. And Landon was supporting that fundraiser yesterday. She was. And part of that fundraiser was being done to raise money to get billboards put up for Gannon. And then today, another aunt comes out swinging. The same aunt who came out swinging on me, making false, absolutely horrendous allegations against me, came out swinging against Landon's other aunt about this fundraiser for the billboard, saying it's a hindrance to the investigation. So I am confused about why billboards are a hindrance. I don't understand that. And I'd really like an answer to that. It's genuine questions that I have. It's not anything to be snarky or anything like that. I just really want to know it because it's not often. It's not often that you see a missing child case that law enforcement doesn't want to reward, and family trying to set up, a fundraiser for a billboard to get Gannon's face out there. It's not often that you see that kind of stuff is discouraged, and I'm confused about that. So I don't know. Let's see what other questions I wrote down that I had, because I did write down questions. Oh, this was another question. Is it normal for law enforcement to suggest that donations be made to to their to their agency in order to assist in search efforts? Is that a normal thing? I've never personally seen it done, but I don't want to say it's not normal if it's not. So those are just some things on my mind tonight. I think, yeah, glowing ember. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I think anymore at this point, to be honest with you. Today has been a doozy psychologically, trying to think about all of these things and wrap your head around how, and I don't really want to get into this. I don't, but I find it very, very appalling, absolutely appalling that somebody who is in the status that Landon's aunt is in Texas. She is a huge figure. She is a political figure. I find it absolutely appalling that she would come out and use such a bold-faced false accusation against me. It's almost like she should know better than to do that. She's an educated woman. She knows the definition of the word that she used. So it's very, my mind's swimming tonight, guys. It's swimming. Yeah, and you know what, Danette? I don't often say that. I don't often say that word, but it was 100% slander. It was. It was a bold-faced lie. And had she taken, you know, 10 minutes to watch the video clip that was shared, she could have known that what she was speaking was a lie, but she didn't take that time to do that. So that's on her. That's okay. She has to live with her words and her actions, and shame on her. Shame on her. So I don't forget when people do that to me, though, because I am an honest, genuine person. And so back to the case at hand. We are here for Gannon. And I will not let somebody's behavior like that deter me or this channel or what we are doing here. So I agree with you, Daily Dale. Yeah, I'm 100% focused on Gannon, but I'm still a human being. That's something that's hard to not get upset at, especially when it was a very, very, it wasn't just something petty. It was a very serious thing that was said. So anyways, after all of my questions, I agree with you, Jason. I absolutely agree with you. I think that's a great point. Military and politicians make this case bigger than what we think. I think you are absolutely right about that. And I agree, Danette, that does seem very off. Something's not normal. Star shooters, I am baffled by the billboard being a hindrance as well, on top of the reward money. I've never seen anything like it. No, not Tana, Angie Clark. No. Completely different aunt. Thank you, Doodlebug. Yes, Amy, there is a lot that just, it seems that as time goes on, the more we become like, what in the world? Yeah, that's a good thing, Dale. Anybody who's here, I know you support this channel and you support Real Massacre Talk and you support myself, and I wholeheartedly appreciate that. And the people who defended me respectfully, I am very grateful for that. And I would ask that nobody would lash out and be rude or anything like that, because that is a bad look. So, thank you, Jeannie. That could be, Jason. Maybe that's why the police are so tight-lipped and really don't want the public and social media involved. And that goes back to your comment that military and politicians make this case bigger than we think. I think that is a relevant point to look at. I do. After just sitting back and observing and trying to piece things together, there's just something's not right, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. At the same time, law enforcement asks for the public's help. They want tips, they want leads. If you've seen anything, they want you to call in and give tips, and we wholeheartedly support that. The number to call in for tips is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And I don't know. I've literally researched today. I spent probably 2 hours researching today on why law enforcement would not want a reward for a missing child, and I can't find an answer. You're right, Joe. It's absolutely not worth wasting the time lashing out on the haters. Absolutely. Aw, thank you, Doodlebug. The billboard thing really does concern me. It truly does, because I guess and we're only outsiders looking in. So we don't know what other people know. We don't. But why would a billboard with a picture of Gannon bringing attention to his awareness to his case and him being missing at 11 years old, why would that hinder an investigation? Why? It just, because they would get false tips. I think they're getting false tips already. Law enforcement has openly said that they've gotten false tips and speculation, etc. So what's this say? The billboard would just spread more awareness. However, maybe they are worried about the billboard may generate more false tips. I totally understand that, but don't you have to do the whole, pros versus cons there? Wouldn't a billboard bringing his face to the public's attention, and maybe that billboard will bring the lead or the tip that they need? It's like you have to take the good with the bad in so many situations in life, but especially in a situation like this, because false tips are called in, and it's not okay. I don't support that 100%. I think it's a terrible thing for people to call in false tips. But unfortunately, it happens even when there isn't a billboard. It happens even when there isn't a reward. So I personally feel like, and again, I'm an outsider looking in, I don't know why they don't want a billboard, but I personally feel like a billboard would bring more good than it would bad. That's just my personal opinion. So, absolutely, no stone unturned, Amy. Eyes everywhere, ears open. Absolutely. There's a lot of people who don't know about Gannon's case, and I think it's fair to say the only reason that there needs to be more eyes and ears is because there's so many people who aren't aware of Gannon's case. I mean, it does seem like a lot of people are following it. Yes, there's thousands of people following it, but think about the rest of the thousands that don't even know that this little boy is missing. So that's something to definitely take into consideration. Let me read some comments here, guys. CS, you said you think To not have the billboard, if given an option, is just law enforcement not completing the task of finding Gannon to the best of their ability. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And there has not been anything from the stepmother today or yesterday. It's been very quiet. Aggie, where did you post that video at on YouTube? Yeah, I think that's where I'm at, Jennifer, is that too much time has passed. You guys, Monday it will be 28 days. It will be 4 weeks on Monday that Gannon has been missing. That is an incredible long length of time for an 11-year-old boy to be missing and not be found. I still have not verified the Alaska situation, Star Shooters. Oh, wow. For baby Evelyn, the chief pledged $1,000 himself. Oops. I'll get to your comment 1 second, Charlie Hunt. The chief pledged $1,000 himself on camera. He feels like he would do anything to help, and he knows they have to investigate at the same time. It just goes to show the differences. And then Charlie Hunt said, in the Delphi case, there are hundreds of tips that don't go anywhere, but the law enforcement weeds through them and does their job. False tips or poor tips are part of every investigation. I agree with you 100%. I absolutely agree. Oh, you're welcome, Janelle. Thank you for being here. I agree, Grace. I agree, Grace. Grace said, personally, I am going insane knowing that no arrests have been made, no news on anything, just seems that something isn't right. I think that is starting to become the general consensus of everyone. It's very, very odd. And we don't know why it's odd. You know, I'm sure it will all make sense in time. But right now, at this point in time, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to keep Gannon's name out there because, you know, as a YouTube creator, you come on here and how do you keep Gannon's name out there and discuss this with people when you have nothing to discuss besides all the crazy speculation and theories and the very little information we do know? So it does make it hard, but here I sit. So I'm trying. If it gets boring, I apologize, but I refuse to go down the crazy rabbit holes and the crazy theories that I see, because at the end of the day, I talked about this the other day, the simplest solution is usually the right solution. And, you know, as human beings, we tend to overthink, myself included. When they find Gannon. Oh. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, Dale. Absolutely. I'm hoping the same thing, that they have something up their sleeve, under their sleeve, as you said, and they come out with a bang, hopefully. Hopefully. Yeah, it's yes, there's not much out about the Delphi murders anymore. It's very sad. Their 3-year anniversary of their death or their murder, I should say, just passed. So, Glowing Ember, you said you believe law enforcement knows who did what to Gannon and are making sure that they have an airtight case before arrest. They don't want to waste any more resources needlessly. That is a great point. That is a great point. Absolutely. Yeah, Darwin, the cops not saying anything makes us overthink. And we have to respect what law enforcement is doing, because that is their jobs. And I have said over and over again, I have the utmost respect for law enforcement. I back the blue 100%. Um, it's still frustrating. I'm still frustrated. It doesn't mean I don't support law enforcement. I know that they have to do what they have to do, but it's so frustrating. So frustrating. Yeah, brainstorming is great, CR. Absolutely. I think brainstorming is a powerful tool, especially when you bring hundreds and thousands of people together who all have insight or all have an opinion. And, I've said this before, even if it's speculation, even if it's speculation, it's still something that might make a light bulb go off in somebody's head. So it's fair to even I won't advertise speculation, but do I look at it? All the time. All the time. Aw, thank you, Animata. You're so sweet. Thank you. That makes sense, Dale. They don't want to risk his safety if he's being held as a hostage. Yeah. Casey said law enforcement may be asking for donations based on the amount of resources they have poured into the case. And it's the beginning of a financial year. They tend to want to make up for some of that money. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I may want to look on Fox 31 Denver. Is there a new report out on Fox 31 Denver? Let me look. Let me look. Just bear with me for a second while I look because I can't really talk and look at the same time. So, what am I supposed to be looking at on Fox 31 Denver? Because I'm not seeing anything. Wait, I'm lost. You just put a link in chat. Okay. Amy, are you seeing that link down there in chat for what they're talking about? They're reporting on it now. Okay. Oh, you seen Real Massacre Talk on there, like on the report? Like, is somebody from my team out on there? Authorities warn of fraudulent rewards set up for Gannon. That's nice. Okay. Oh, wow. Huh. Nice. Well, I guess I'll have to reach out to Fox 31 Denver. Is it a video or was it on the news or was it on Facebook? Good night, Greg. It is a shame. It is absolutely a shame because, yeah, I mean, we clarified it. The person who offered, yeah, I haven't. Trying to see. I need it. Does anybody have a link to this? Because this is crazy. I can't figure out if. Let me try to find it from my phone, D. Sorry, guys. I didn't plan on having to do this. Sorry, guys. Let me see if I can find Dee's link. Can you drop that link one more time, Dee? Wow. Yeah, if somebody could record it and send it to me, that would be great. That would be great. What's crazy is they're taking it out of context because most of you were here last night when this happened. It was very impromptu. It was very it was an offer, it was a pledge, it was a verbal statement, and Fox 31 Denver YouTube. Awesome. That's great. I think Manda just sent it to me. Thank you, Amanda. Amy, can you check the group chat when you get a chance and look at the link that I just forwarded? Joe, too. All right, I'm not going to continue to address this right now because that is, I ain't even going to say what I think right now. Oh, boy. Well, yeah, it's fake news, Matt. It's 100% fake news. You can watch the live from last night. You can watch the live from earlier today where we clarified this. And if you can watch our lives here on YouTube. And whoever decided to do this, I would have suggested that they listened to our YouTube channel because this is absolute slander. I'll be handling it. Amy, can you come on with me at all? Are you available to? If you're not, it's fine. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm going to message True Helper as well. Yes, I got the link. Manda sent it to me. There's a link for you, Amy. I need to open this and send this link to True Helper. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, I'm going to bring Amy on for on with me because I have to take a deep breath for a minute. Yeah. They absolutely should have. They absolutely should have. I'm going to get a hold of them. I'll absolutely get a hold of them. Here's Amy.
Hi. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to drop. It's not good, but I just felt like you needed to know, like right now. Take a deep breath and do what you need to do. If you need me to hold it down for a minute.
Oh, I'm okay for a moment.
You're okay. Okay. So that's irresponsible not to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Very irresponsible reporting.
Yes. Yes.
And this is getting out of hand. So, not only that, but they have via Twitter and all those other things ways to reach out to you.
Right.
There's
Right.
no excuse for it.
Right. Joe, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I want to watch it right now while I'm live. I don't. I don't. I don't. I have to maintain my composure while I'm on here with everybody who's here. So I will watch it after this and deal with it personally. Maui Girl, I like your idea. I think that is a fair idea because if they're going to report on something, they need to report the truth. And
they obviously didn't fact check. They obviously didn't watch the clip.
Right. And somebody just asked last night if the person who came on here last night could be a troll. Absolutely not.
No.
Doodlebug can attest to that. Amy can attest to that. Hey. Hey, anyways.
It's okay. Because when you're telling the truth and you haven't done anything wrong,
right.
It's easier to deal with. And you know who you are.
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to the reporter on that. I'm going to reach out to the reporter. It's absolutely unacceptable. That is unacceptable. And I will be reaching out to a lawyer as well.
I don't know how this escalated so quickly.
I hope that Veronica is listening. I was going to let it go, but I'll leave it at that. With that said,
okay.
I'm not going to continue to give this attention because while Veronica says that the focus needs to be on Gannon, the proof is right there at what she's doing. So how's the focus on Gannon with that? Anyways, I was going to go into some missing kids statistics from the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. And yeah, true helper is genuine. Thanks, Jason. Thank you. Amy, can you hold it down for 2 minutes?
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course. So while Danielle's stepping away, I just want to point out some obvious things to all of you, but for anybody that might be listening and not participating, you'll notice at the bottom of the screen there is a number to call with any tips or leads that goes directly to the El Paso Sheriff's Department, 719-520-6666. We are not accepting tips here. We are not accepting money here. We have no links. We have no PayPal. We have no GoFundMe. And this channel has never supported a GoFundMe. So this has gotten a little out of hand. Ari's Art 315, of course you can ask a random question. Yes, Dee, thank you for that. This channel from day one has done nothing but support Gannon and his family. That is 100% true. And with any case that Danielle covers, it's all about the victim or victims. She's not in here for money. She doesn't have a Patreon. She doesn't ask for anything. We don't even ask for likes, subscribes, hit that bell notification. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that is not why she's here. She's here because she cares about people and she wants to bring cases to attention. Ari's already might have missed your question. What are some of the best ways or platforms to get involved in discussions and such? What kind of discussions? I mean, I see you say about cases. Places like this, Reddit is a great place. People like to discuss there. It's a great community, great resources. This channel absolutely did get ambushed last night. I should rephrase that. Because I read your question wrong. True Helper was offering something with the purest intentions, and then you guys, some of you guys, a lot of you guys were saying, hey, you know what? I'll match that. I'll back that. But it's very important that people know that there was no financial transactions. There were no hyperlinks to donate. Even when people asked on Facebook if there was a way for them to do it, we said, hey, put it down in the comments. They were pledges, not donations. And we certainly weren't soliciting anybody. That's just not, it's not how this channel is run. It never has been run that way, and it never will be run that way. I can 100% tell you that. And it's not even my channel. Thank you, Car Guy. I know you know this. This is heartbreaking. This is absolutely heartbreaking. This was something that came from a very pure place and has been spun out of control. Joe Brown, thank you for the red hearts, and Lufa. And I know you guys all support Danielle. She needs the support right now. And we'll get through this, but it's very unfortunate. Yeah, $0 collected. None. DD Heritage, I can't comment on that because I just don't know. Don J, I think that's what's so upsetting. She says it was a very touching moment last night, and it was, and I was legitimately in tears. And wow, if 12 hours later I wasn't in tears again because somebody had taken a beautiful gesture and turned it into something ugly. And I just don't understand it. And Joe is right. Danielle just doesn't roll that way. Joe Brown, it was amazing last night. Thank you, Tambra M. Redwood, I watched it last night when True Helper made his very heartfelt pledge. The money was for if someone came forward and returned Gannon. Leave it to the MSM to get a simple thing twisted. Yeah, it's very hard to understand how we got to this point right now. Oh, working on my gains. Hang in there, Danielle. It'll pass. We know where all of your hearts are. Thank you for this channel. Oh, if she was here, she'd say thank you for saying that. She would, and I'm going to thank you too. It was the kindest thing, Des. Oh, Amanda, your support is everything. Everybody in the chat, your support is everything. I think all our hearts are broken over this. If you were here last night, or if you listened to the replay, or you just saw the 10-minute clip, I don't know how any of this could be misconstrued. I really don't. Danielle and Tish, who started this channel, don't have a nefarious notion in their bodies. Yes, true helper is a quality gentleman. I agree. Video chimp, I hear what you're saying, but in the moment it was a pledge. It wasn't, can anybody match me or anything like that. That all happened in the chat organically, and continued to go on through the night. We continued, Danielle shared some emails or comments or whatever. It was building up. So, yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely solicited nothing. It was impromptu. I never solicited anything, even after True Helper generously offered that. It was a verbal statement. So I just watched the news clip and
Oh.
I have some questions. I wasn't going to say this, but I have some questions.
Do, do you need an editor? Are you okay?
I don't need an editor.
Okay.
Um, um, I might need a filter, but
That's what I meant. I'll just yell
yeah,
beep.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, I would like to know if Landon's fundraiser was deemed acceptable by law enforcement. I would like to know that. I think that's a legitimate question. I would like to know where the money that is being donated to the church is going. That's a legitimate question. There are people out there across the nation who are donating money that is going directly to the family, and that is great. That is wonderful. But they do deserve to know where it's going, and I think it's absolutely disgusting that a member of Gannon's family would take something like this to this level when people were offering money out of the kindness of their hearts. It was an offer. It was a pledge. It was a verbal statement. It was not solicited. So shame on them. Shame on them. Amy, it's disgusting.
It's absolutely
It is absolutely
disgusting. Yes,
atrocious.
it is. It is. And there was it's just appalling because there was no transactions, nothing, no links. I mean, I don't know how we got from a beautiful gesture to point B, extortion, running to the news, and quite honestly defaming your reputation.
Right. And that is illegal. So shame on them. Shame on them. As citizens in the public who have donated, the ones that are out there that are listening that have donated, I would be asking where your money has went that you've donated so far and why you're not allowed to donate money to why isn't anybody not me because I don't want to set up a reward fund. I've never said that. But why isn't there a reward fund set up and why aren't people allowed to donate to that for this little boy? Why?
And why? Yeah, and why didn't Fox 31 fact check?
Right. Why are you allowed to donate to help a family pay their bills? I get it. They need to pay their bills. I get it. I understand it. Everybody has bills. They're going through a horrible time. They need help. That's great. But why are you allowed to donate there? But there's nobody, you know, they're trying to say that no reward fund is wanted. And why? Why?
How come there are funds that were endorsed yesterday or 2 days ago that now aren't by the family?
Right.
How is that?
Right.
What's going on there? And by the way, I did send Danielle some articles today. There are quite a few examples where private citizens have offered up rewards. It doesn't have to be through. Don't be mistaken. It does not have to be through law enforcement and the FBI. I've seen that a lot on Facebook today. Not that we were setting up a reward, but if somebody is saying things like that, a private citizen can set up a reward. There's no law against that.
Yeah, there's no law against it. And at the same time, we didn't set up a reward.
We
The
didn't.
one mistake I did make, and I will 100% own this, I have owned this all day. When I cut the video, when I took the portion out of the live and I made a video to bring awareness to what was said, and I used the word reward. That's my fault. That's my fault. I didn't think about it. It was what, like 4 o'clock in the morning when I did that, Amy? It was
Right.
super late. I wasn't
Yeah.
thinking. That's my fault. I'll own that. However, the context of the video, if it is listened to and people actually would have clicked on it and listened to what was said, they would have realized that.
It was the choice of words is semantics, Danielle.
Right.
It's semantics.
Right.
Because if you had, like you said, if you clicked through and listened, you would have realized that is not what happened. And by the way, the full video in its entirety is still intact.
Yeah, it's still there. The
So
live from last
there,
night's still there. It's not
there's
going
no
anywhere.
question about how it was edited for context or anything like that. That word was not used.
And you
No.
know what is hypocritical about all of this? And I know that's a harsh word, but it's absolutely hypocritical. You have a woman all over Facebook saying, this is about Gannon. Let's keep the focus on Gannon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here trying to do that, and this is what she does. So that tells
Right.
you a lot of what you need to know. They're more worried about getting that on Fox News, and it's being misconstrued and reported incorrectly and falsely reported. And that's not keeping a focus on Gannon.
No. No. She has spent the when did this start, Danielle? 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she has waited until she has spent 13 hours of her day orchestrating this, and I orchestrating.
Yeah, Dale,
Emphasis on
I'll unprivatize it, and it has been retitled. It has been retitled. So
this
yeah,
channel is nothing. Danielle, your channel is nothing but transparent.
absolutely, 100%.
Anything you
Um,
talk about on here is posted in the Facebook discussion group.
mhm,
You're not asking for money. You don't have a Patreon. You're not selling merch. We're not selling
mhm.
rubber bracelets. We're not selling Sonic stickers, by the way, which is licensed with Gannon's name on it. You're not selling t-shirts. You're not selling, I mean, come on.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, Video Chimp. It was very, very clear that it was a pledge and an offer. And an offer. So
You're right, Jason. That's exactly what it was. It was an incentive for the person who may have Gannon or knows what happened to him to come forward and bring him home. There's nothing wrong with that. Money talks, and I'm gonna say a bad word. Bullshit walks. I love it. I love it. No, that's exactly what it was.
mhm.
You
Yep.
know, Danielle, you've done nothing but support this family. Nothing but complete and utter support of this family. Taking into account their feelings, giving, I don't know a better word for it, but like trigger warnings,
Right.
everything else. And this is, if there's family in here right now, this is not totally inclusive of
It's
everybody.
not. There's a
It's
family member in
not.
here right now, and she gets it.
Yeah.
It's not her.
I just
And
wanted to be clear with my words.
yeah, no. There's a family member down there, and she's voiced her own opinion about this other said aunt, and it's interesting. It's
It's very interesting considering that she's back in her hometown now, presumably going about her life as best as she can. You would think after being gone for a while, she'd be super busy.
Yeah.
Yes, my mouth does taste like soap right now, I'm sure.
Thank you, Des. It's not even, I think, if anything, I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad about True Helper offering that. I think that was a very genuine, sweet thing to do. And I saw a family member in here last night who was absolutely humbled and crying over his offer. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel bad about it. We did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong. And
Nobody's in the
it
wrong.
wasn't orchestrated. It was impromptu. It happened, and it was amazing to see how many people cared and how many people were willing to, you know,
What time did we go to bed last night? Was it like
like 5 in the
4:30,
morning. Yeah, it was
or 5
super
in the
late.
morning?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said to you I'm going to go to bed, and you said me too, and then we did that. Are you still up? thing. This
Right.
that that was so impromptu that there were all these emotions where like we couldn't sleep, and we kept like talking about like, can you believe that just happened, and the people in the chat were so incredible, and oh my gosh,
Right.
all of this. And you know what, and all of it was for Gannon. It wasn't like for the channel,
Right.
it was for
Right.
Gannon, because that's all Danielle's mission is.
Glowing Ember said, "What does the family member in the chat know of the rogue aunt? Is she on the outs with the family?" Um, Marie, if you'd like to address that, you're welcome to. And yes, absolutely, this is 100% for Gannon. I'm not apologizing because there was nothing wrong that was done. My feelings are hurt, but hey, I've had my feelings hurt quite a few times in life. I'm sure I'll come back from this one too. Shame on them. Shame on
Very
them.
much so. Yeah, enjoy your ratings. I hope it feels good.
Right? Right?
Sorry, but I mean, if anybody should feel bad, if anybody should have a,
She hold on. Marie said
uh-huh.
she never has anything to do with us until it has something to do with Landon. That's interesting. Hmm.
Very.
Aw, thank you, true crime enthusiasts. Thank you. Marie said she could sling some crap, but she won't. Yeah, I don't want to sling some crap, but what she's done is wrong. What she's done is wrong. So, um,
Well, and the news station is equally culpable.
right, right. Yep, absolutely.
There's been nothing on this case for a couple of days, and wow, what can we put on the 10 o'clock news or whatever time it went on?
Right. Not only did they slander me, they slandered Landon's other aunt in South Carolina who was trying to start the fundraiser for a billboard for Gannon. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
A lot, actually.
Marie, that's terrible. You shouldn't be in trouble with her at all. She's not your boss. I don't know whose boss she thinks she is, but I'm I'm gonna shut up. I just need to shut up. Um,
Beep.
oh my gosh.
You what is the opposition to a billboard, guys? Why wouldn't you want a billboard? Why wouldn't law enforcement want a billboard? Are they not asking people to come forward with tips? Are they not have they said, please don't talk to your friends about this case, please don't talk to your neighbors about this case? Have they said that? Have they said, please don't check your ring cams if you live in the neighborhood on that day? Have they said that? I mean, I put it in the chat earlier. What if somebody travels through Colorado Springs once or twice a month and hasn't heard of this case? Because, there are a lot of people that haven't. And what if they are the one person that saw something that day?
Yeah, Marie, we are aware of who she is. Absolutely aware. It's yeah, we're aware.
Glowing embers. I can't read that, but I will say touche.
What it? I didn't see it. Oh, touche.
Do you see it now?
Yeah. Oh, star shooters. Amen. Amen.
Read it because I didn't see it.
It's like we have two
Oh.
attention seekers, Tisha and Veronica. Isn't that strange?
Mm-hmm.
That comes off as very strange to me.
Team T and Team V.
Oh no, Trump denounced her. Trump denounced
Mm-hmm.
any involvement with said aunt. There's actually a website about that because of her bringing in foreign.
Tisha Renee, I can't post your comments.
Anyways, Trump distanced himself from her because of her business, which brings in foreign workers or something like that. I don't know.
But she has a staffing company and she likes to bring in foreign workers or outsource jobs. Yes.
Okay, what comment am I? What comment can't you say?
Oh, maybe I'm like a prude. Tisha Renee. It was funny, but I just don't.
The if I'm being honest one?
No. It's V is for.
Oh, maybe I haven't seen that one yet.
I'll say it like my girlfriend says it. Vagina.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was funny. I just.
Yeah, star shooters. There's a whole website. He distanced himself from her because she runs for the Republican Party, but she's a registered Democrat in North Carolina, and none of this has to do with Gannon. And oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
where are we now, and what do we do?
well, I'm just gonna go back to these missing kids statistics, guys, because I don't want to take any more focus off the case. I really don't.
Okay.
I might have to vent randomly every now and then, so don't think I have Tourette's. If
I was just about to say, there's a fun fact y'all don't know. Danielle has Tourette's just every once in a while.
Oh gosh. Okay, so
okay.
I pulled up the missing children statistics today from the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. And I think we can do a process of elimination here. Out of the children that are missing in the US, 91% are endangered runaways. So you can take Gannon out of that category because law enforcement has openly said he's not a runaway, right? They changed his status from runaway. 4% of missing children are the result of family abductions. Gannon falls in that category.
Yes.
Joan, I love you too. Another 4% of critically missing young adults are ages 18 to 20. So you can take Gannon out of that category. So you got him out of the category that's 91% and out of the category that's 4%. 95% of the categories through the NCMEC, Gannon is excluded from those. He does not fall in those. And then there is 1% that a child is lost, injured, or otherwise missing. Gannon could fall into that category. And then there's the final one, which is less than 1% of non-family abductors. So the three categories that Gannon falls into when it comes to being a missing children is a family abduction, a 1% chance of being a lost, injured, or otherwise missing child, and a less than 1% chance of being the victim of a non-family abduction. Those are interesting.
Yeah.
Because the two lowest ones, the two lowest percentages are lost, injured, or otherwise missing, and non-family abductors. Those are the two lowest percentages. And the highest percentage category that Gannon falls into is the 4% chance of a family abduction.
Right.
Then you have to try and figure out which one applies to his case. And
book circles.
yeah. And then, it comes back to that video, I guess, the surveillance video. The surveillance video that law enforcement has openly said that they do not, what were their words again? I'm kind of a little foggy brained right now, that they do not dispute what the neighbor said about what he saw on his video surveillance footage.
Correct. And it is a piece of a very important piece of a very large puzzle.
Right.
A very important piece.
Right. So that in itself is interesting. That's why they don't need a billboard, Yvette. That might be fair. Yeah. That might be fair.
I'll tell you what, if I didn't know where my child was, and the law enforcement was not telling me that for legitimate reasons, I understand, I would still want a billboard. I'd want a billboard until the day I knew what happened to my kid.
I agree. And what's interesting is that Landon supported that fundraiser yesterday for the billboard. She did support it. I have the proof on my phone. And for some reason today, something happened that Landon's aunt, who has been her spokesperson all over social media, came out saying that fundraiser was false, it was fraudulent, and people were telling her, no, this is Landon's aunt. Landon's aunt has set this up. Landon okayed it, and there was many posts showing, where Landon was aware of it. She knew it was out there, and she was tagged in it on her page and all of that. And all of a sudden today,
that's an issue.
The aunt, who's a spokesperson, has made it an issue, and it's very confusing. Very confusing.
It is, and it's distressing and disappointing and disgusting that the pledge that True Helper made on this channel last night is lumped in with false fundraising.
Yes.
Because it's not, it's apples and oranges. It's apples and fucking potatoes. I'm sorry. But
hey, Will. Yeah.
There was no comparison there. This is, I can't comment on the motivation for the family, because I don't want to exacerbate the situation, but I can say that there has been no new news on Gannon, and this TV station was like a vulture jumping on anything to talk about tonight. And this is what he chose. Right.
Yeah, they chose me. So
right. No. True Helper did not screw up.
No, not at all, Bill. No.
No. No. Do you want to?
So a brief rundown, Will, is that last night on here, True Helper, at the very end of my live, graciously made a pledge that he said, I will even go as far to say I will pull, because I can't be there to help I will offer $1,000 to anybody who who brings Gannon home, who in the next, like, what, 24 to 48 hours, okay?
Yes.
And after he said that, subs in the chat started making comments. They wanted to offer money as well. It was just verbal pledges. There was no money exchanged, nothing.
No links dropped. No
No links dropped. It was
GoFundMes.
literally like word of mouth, hey, I'm going to say this. I'm good for it if Gannon gets brought home. And it wasn't solicited anywhere. There's nothing set up, nothing like that. It was
It wasn't a
literally
telethon.
right.
Yeah.
The tip line was streaming at the bottom of the screen. And this morning I woke up to Landon's aunt, who is her spokesperson, saying that I was trying to extort money.
Her
So,
exact words.
yes. So I then addressed that on YouTube, on a YouTube live. I addressed it. We handled it. True Helper came on here. And I even directly commented to this aunt and said, you're more than welcome to reach out to me because this isn't true what you're saying. But somehow it made Fox 31 News in Denver tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens from here because I'm not taking this lightly.
And there was an army of minions reporting videos and groups as well.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, Tracy L. It was a nice gesture, off the cuff and heartfelt. Absolutely. That's what it was.
It was an impromptu moment that Danielle had no idea about. I had no idea about. He brought it up. It was
Oh, it's already made the news, Tracy
so
L. Yeah.
such good intentions. And
Yeah, that's basically what it was. Good intentions turned and twisted by a member of Landon's family into something that it absolutely was not. And now I have been slandered and trashed as far as being slandered and trashed on a news station in Denver. And you're right, Will, the live is there. That's what I said. I mean, it's not hidden. The live is there. So why aren't they clicking on it to verify it before they go report BS, report lies? They flat out lied.
because they had nothing else to report tonight and they jumped on it. And
I believe that's illegal. I don't believe that you can single somebody out in the media and lie about them.
they obviously didn't fact check. They didn't reach out to you. They didn't reach out to Tish. They didn't reach out to the Facebook page. They didn't reach out to you on Twitter. They didn't reach out to you anywhere.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you.
By the way, if someone is extorting money, that's a serious crime and the police would be involved.
Right. Well, it's really surprising to me because I'm going to Doodlebug. I'm going to, absolutely. It's really surprising to me because this person, she's Landon's spokesperson, unofficial spokesperson all over social media. And she is a very prominent member of her society or her local town and community. And she knows better than to make a statement like that publicly. She knows better. That's the way she rolls. Marie, let's see what you said. That's the way she rolls. Pull the power cord. But in my opinion, I did nothing wrong. Yeah.
Texas Angel, I hear what you're saying. I don't believe the police have stopped looking. I don't want anybody to think that. But it was all for Gannon, and it was all to get the family answers, and there was no other motivation behind that pledge.
Well, I totally get what you're saying. I get it, but you know me. You know me. I take pride in being honest and sincere and doing things for the right reasons. And I take pride in bringing facts and truth. And you also know that I'm very sensitive. So, yeah, I'll text you about it after I'm off of here. Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to be that channel that bad press gets me attention. No, I mean I get it. I get it. I know what you're saying. I totally get it. But you know,
Well, they're blasphemous statements,
right,
and they hold no weight. I mean, like Will said, the live is there. The live is there in
right,
its entirety with the chat. Then you have the 10-minute extraction. It can't be said that any of that was out of context. The comments are still up on YouTube. When
right.
people asked about it on Facebook, we said comment on YouTube. I mean, you know,
Yeah, you're right, Will. You're absolutely right. I think the point is that she is trying to make me out to be a dishonest thief. That is a huge problem.
yeah.
That is a
I
huge
I get
problem.
I get what Will's saying too. I totally
I get
100%.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's being insinuated that we did. It's the insinuation.
Will, come on. You would even go as far to say you hope that someone investigates me. That way I can prove it. Yeah, I mean, the proof is there. The proof is there. I have no problem. Bring it. Investigate me. Investigate me. Yeah, it's there. I got nothing to hide. Oh,
It's
anyways.
very ridiculous. It is it
Oh,
is
this
slanderous.
was interesting. This was just sent to me. Uh, a question sent to me on Messenger. Why aren't why aren't or why isn't V making a big deal about T and Harley begging for money? And my other question was, people were saying you were doing it for views, but me and Sherry were the ones sharing it, not for you or Tish or anyone else. Yeah, we didn't share this anywhere. I mean, we shared it in our Facebook group, yes, but we didn't share it to any other groups or anything like that.
Mm-mm. No. In fact, it's kind of a policy of yours not to do that with anything, correct?
Right, yeah. What is frustrating is that there's people out there who, instead of fact checking themselves, they will take her statement and run with it, and it could cause unnecessary calamity. Absolutely. They should have checked their facts. You're right, Joe. Yeah. And at the end of the day, absolutely does. This is not good for Gannon at all. What does Tisha say? She's sending it to the FBI. LOL.
Stop.
So yeah, it's just
Tisha, that's a good point. I mean, I would hate to think that because everybody just wants Gannon home and wants answers. But yeah, you're right. No one's going to want to help this family anymore if it
one
continues.
second. Pallets and pugs.
Sure.
That is not what I said. I did not say that Landon spoke with me and approved the donation pledge. I never said that. Those words never. I never said that. I said that Landon was in support of her aunt. Her aunt, an aunt in South Carolina, who opened up a fundraiser just yesterday for a billboard for Gannon, and I forget what else it was for. That's what I said Landon was in support of. What happened here last night was spur of the moment. It just happened. True Helper offered money, pledged money for the safe return of Gannon. He made a statement. That's all it was. It was a statement. There was no transactions. People followed suit in the comments. That's what happened. So thank you, Marie, for trying to defend me. Okay, well, I'll text you when I'm off of here. Are you going to be up for a while? I'm not going to be on here much longer because I'm frustrated.
Interesting, Marie. Good night,
Hmm.
Will.
Yeah, good night, Will. Yeah, I read some of that, Danette. I read some of it. Whatever, whatever. People like to talk, and that kind of talk. I mean, I'm even being a hypocrite right now by talking about it because we should be talking about Gannon. So I don't understand. I don't understand. If you want to keep the focus on this little boy, then keep the focus on this little boy.
Right. Right. None of this is productive.
I mean, the sheriff's office didn't make any statements today about the investigation on Gannon. Like I said earlier, this is the first time since he went missing that there hasn't been a statement made, a public statement released. They were releasing them every day. And now today nothing. That could be because they can't release a statement. Um but there's very little to work with here to keep this little boy's name out there to everybody.
Right.
And that makes it hard. And he's still missing. He's still missing. In my time zone, he's on day 27 of being missing. In 2 hours in Colorado, he will be on day 27 of being missing.
Yes. And the family's on TV pleading,
Right.
but they don't want billboards
Right.
and they don't want a reward, which we weren't even setting up. I should stop using that word.
Oh, really, Anne? That's interesting. Out of
But
all her tweets, there's one tweet about Gannon. Interesting. Joan, yeah, I'll probably do that. That's a good idea.
maybe you should have taken a nap tonight. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. If you guys know me, okay, so it's already 12:15 now. I'm like a night owl. I'm a total night
She's
owl.
going to be up until 6 a.m.
I'm gonna be up all night thinking about this and stewing about this.
Driving across state lines to get a Taco Bell that's open.
So when I get all upset, I tell everybody, I'm like, I need Taco Bell.
There's a 1 hour differential.
Yeah. Thank you, Tambra. Good night. Good night. I'm gonna have to check that out, Anne. I've never looked at it. Never looked at it. Oh boy. So
Yeah, Sheila Pink Ladybug. I agree. But
you're right, Jason. You're right. I mean, I'm still here talking, so I'll still keep Gannon's name out there. This isn't about me. This isn't about what ridiculous accusations are made or what ridiculous people have to say. This is about Gannon. I'm here for Gannon. I'm not here for anybody else. We're all here for Gannon. You know what? I texted True Helper Deborah. I'm not sure. He might be sleeping or something. So, oh, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you.
have some great comments.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, Danette, you're so sweet. Everybody in this chat is. Just keep supporting Danielle because
Yeah, we're going to hang out for a minute. Um, I gotta.
Oh, Don J, you're so sweet.
Amy, I'm gonna drop this right here. Can
Oh.
you copy it and paste it and text it to me
Sure. Where are you dropping it?
in the chat?
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna drop it. You know how to get to the private chat, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna drop it there. If you could copy it and paste it and text it to me, I can't because
Sure.
you're on your phone, right?
Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, I have my
Okay.
iPad right here. Yeah.
Okay. I just can't copy and paste from my computer and text.
Sure.
So, and I need to.
Okay. Actually, it's coming. Just give me 1 sec here.
Okay. Okay. So, um, aw, you're so sweet, Tisha. You're sweet. Thank you.
Sorry, every time I hear Tisha's name now, I'm gonna be like
Yeah, I'm very certain that True Helper's heart will be broken.
I don't know if his heart will. Well, I know his heart will be broken,
Thank you, Donnie.
but I think he'll have some choice words too.
Aw, who emailed Will? Thank you for emailing Will. You guys know that he's one of my close friends. He texted me before. I didn't see his text.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry.
You're
Give
okay.
me 1 more second. What I sent you is wrong. I hit something with my finger like right before it went.
Thank you, Danette. Aw, Trena. Aw. You guys are so sweet. I love all of my subs. You're just truly the best. This chat's always so positive and happy. You guys are so supportive of bringing Gannon home, and I know there's not lots to talk about, but if there's any like theories you guys want to talk about, you're welcome to drop them in the chat, and I'll try to address them or what I know about them.
Okay, tell me when you got it.
Okay. I got it. Oh, shoot. Oops.
And I'm going to get back into YouTube because I can't see the chat at all.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I agree with you, Rad. It is very quiet with this case. Oh, thank you, Lufa. Go cry and come back like the badass I am. Oh, I love you
She is
too.
a badass. You know,
I'm with you, Amanda. I'm with you. I have to agree with you.
yeah. And I don't know how to say your name, but is it Jebri B or Jebri B? Yeah. How could it have been a scam when True Helper offered his own money? Yeah. I don't. Somebody didn't do their research. Somebody just jumped on a bandwagon.
Yeah, I don't believe it was Cabin Life in Eden Springs that reported me to the news. I believe it was
someone else.
Yeah, yeah, a family member that has taken it upon herself to be the spokesperson. So I'm
Tracy
gonna
L, what are you talking about?
I'm gonna hang out for a little bit longer, guys, maybe, and see what. Angie Clark, I am not aware that T has made a statement like that. Like, please help us find Gannon, but I could have missed it. I could have missed it. So, to be fair, if she did make one, I didn't see it. Somebody in the chat may have saw a comment like that. And I want to give a shout out, just a little thank you to my mods down there. I think Joe might have went to sleep, but he is an awesome guy, you guys. Car Guy 72. And Doodlebug, thank you so much. You're so supportive. And of course, Amy, she's on the panel with me. Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. Anne, you got your internet warrior cape in defense of your channel. No ill intentions here. Only channel that is continuously keeps a candle on for Gannon. Aw. Yvette, I'm not sure what to think about no update from law enforcement. I'm a little confused about that. Hi, Fran, because they have given updates every single day. Every single day. So it's very interesting that there was not an update today. Maybe this is the calm before the storm.
Mm-hmm.
Could that be it?
It's possible.
Could that could totally be it. Amanda, you did have your cape on earlier today. Thank you for that. And I have a little surprise for you guys. Look who's here to talk with us. Hey, True Helper.
You bet your bottom dollar I've got some choice things to say.
Can we do the Law and Order sound? Da, da, da.
So you saw the video I sent you, I'm sure.
Honestly, I didn't look into it, and I apologize. I've been very, very busy. But
Okay.
I was listening in earlier, and where to start with this one? I did like the earlier comment about scamming myself, because I guess that's what was in my mind, because last I checked, I haven't received a penny from anybody anywhere anytime. In
Right.
fact, 9 times out of 10, when I look into things, I'm always spending my own dollar to do so.
I hear you.
Mm.
I hear you.
And isn't that something else, though? And, you know, in this current day and age of the mainstream media being what they are, I used to have the utmost respect for a lot of news outlets, because, you know, growing up, I guess I was always interested in, you know, different articles and just all kinds of information they used to put out, because it was so on point, and they would cover cases genuinely, or when they would bring certain news to all of our living rooms, so to speak, they would always be objective and honest and non-biased. And but nowadays it's like we live in a world of SJWs and agenda-laden mindsets. It just makes absolutely no sense. They call themselves unbiased reporters and all this and that, and that's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense,
Right.
especially when you're going to take information from somebody and not even think about vetting said information to
Mm-hmm.
prove whether it is valid or incorrect. And
Mm-hmm.
now you're actually crossing into very, very treacherous waters, especially with what's happened here in the past 3, almost 4 some odd years since a certain somebody got elected. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, be it from the Covington Catholic high school kids that got trashed in the media for no other reason than being there and just being kids. And then,
Right.
of course, they went after a certain major news outlet that, believe it or not, they just settled out of court over from the main kid that was the target of their whole slander. I mean, they did everything but doxed the poor young man and his family. And even then, people found him and they literally destroyed his life over a BS story that they ran with because it suited their narrative. Now, when do we get back to actual decency, respect, and real deal reporting? You know, that's what I want to know. What's it going to take? I mean, obviously destroying lives doesn't matter to them because they just move on, move forward, whatever it is. You know, they'll settle out of court with, you know, from certain cases and all that, and then they'll just mark it out or write it off on their insurances or whatnot. But I mean, really, think about why we're all here and why I'm on this live stream right now.
Right.
First of all, I'm not going to even try to defend myself because there's nothing to defend.
Right.
I made a pledge. It was, as everybody has said, and I just heard both of you say earlier, it was an impromptu, in the moment pledge that just literally came from, I don't even know where it came from, but
it came from your heart.
Exactly. I mean, no links were left, no PayPals or GoFundMe's or any of those other things were left in chat or anywhere else. And it's absolutely maddening. You know, of course, earlier today, I was saying, I can understand with certain families in having interactions with families and seeing how heartbroken and how much stress that they were suffering. I understood why there were mistakes that were made at the time, or certain members of families would lash out at others, or even, you know, have infighting. But with a case of this size, scope, and magnitude, all of us want the same thing. And that's obviously been one of the cornerstones of your channel here. And yet you get one report from a family member that somehow gets to a reporter somewhere, or somebody calls it in, or whatever it is that they do, however they acquire their news. Lord knows, I don't even want to take a guess at that one anymore because
right.
I'll be nice. But and then all of a sudden they're going to start slandering. Now, is that what we've come to?
Yeah. Could you imagine if the roles were reversed and I came here on my platform and I spewed false information everywhere? Could you imagine?
They would be crying to the hills and wanting to rally the troops. And old boy, with old pitchforks and torches lit.
And you don't have the reach.
Right. Right. I don't have paid sponsors and all of the above that a news network has that is backed by their, you know, whatever channel they are on, their mainstream, you know, whatever network. But yeah, it's very disheartening to say the least.
It is. And I'm not trying to throw fear in there, but it's like they're syndicate. I mean, they're what's the word I'm looking for? An affiliate, right? They're a Fox affiliate, which means that any other station can lift that and run it too. And they post it on YouTube. It's disgusting.
You know, and especially with such a word as extortion. Now that
and fraudulent.
It really, I mean, come on. First of all, I know for a fact that these major news corporations have all kinds of advisors and in company counselors and the whole entire 9 yards. They have legal advisors all over the place. Typically, they do rundowns with their reporters about how to go about doing their jobs anymore, because they know that we live in such a climate that is fueled between a lot of all the divisive crap that's been going on, and with the politics and just you name it every time. And that's why, honestly, I don't watch news anymore. Most of the news that I get is right here on YouTube, for crying out loud, because honestly, every time I tune on any one of the major mainstream news sources, it's like it's all you hear. And 9 out of 10 stories that they speak of, I find, are all BS. They're all nonsense. And for a guy that's never been a reporter his whole life to be able to do one simple Google search and find out that they're spewing nonsense just because they have a narrative they want to push. I mean,
Right.
it really is disheartening and it's maddening. But here's where, and this is not a threat, but I'm going to say something that you don't even have to be a lawyer to understand that there's a fine line between broadcasting a legitimate news report and giving opinions and stating what they call as the facts, and then slander and libel. I mean, come on. This is why I don't want to blow up, and I don't want to go off on a rant here.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody, I believe Amy was saying earlier, and both of you were saying earlier, how could you sit down and watch that live last night and then watch the snippet that you did, the 10
Because
minutes
they didn't.
and
Right.
yeah, exactly. And that to me is irresponsible. That is
It's
very, very irresponsible.
It is, and more and more I'm thinking that this was an opportunistic reporter and producer who didn't have anything. Like, what are we going to put in the Gannon 4-minute spot tonight? We don't have anything. Law enforcement hasn't given us anything. Ooh, look, we have this. Let's just run with it.
mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
unethical.
Oh, absolutely. And again, that's why I say, I'm sure somebody or one of them will probably listen in, but I'll give the advice, and I'm sure any even half-rate lawyer would be able to tell you, if you get any threats or anything like that, you need to keep a log of everything. Definitely keep a log of anything, because the moment that anything happens due to and from their reporting false information, fraudulent information at that's where you can actually use that term, because that is BS to try to express a claim of you doing something fraudulent or extorting money or whatever. The whole entire I have to sit down obviously and watch the news report, but it's unethical, it's irresponsible, it's asinine, if you want the truth. It's just, and frankly, it boils my blood a bit. It really does. It really does.
Yeah. I'm with you. It's yeah.
Well, I keep playing it over and over in my head, and I'm thinking, am I missing something? Is there some way that somebody could have misconstrued this? I mean, obviously, I have a bias, but Danielle knows me pretty well that even it doesn't matter. I can be very, very, very objective, and I don't see it.
I don't either. I listened myself just to make sure of what I said, because I knew, I was emotional, and at the end there, again, I was grasping at straws. I was late, I was tired, but beyond all that, I thought, hey, what can I do? And it was like a split-second deal from the heart, and that was that. But at no point were there any suggestions of, hey, donate to this or donate to that, or give me this or give me that, or anything to that level at all. So again, where they could pull those kinds of words from,
And they have the audio and the visual.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crystal clear what happened. And not only that, but Danielle went on today and addressed it verbally, and she addressed it on Facebook. So what more do you want?
Yeah, and I also agree with what you said earlier, right before I logged in, about they should really be careful, because it's stunts and moments like this that can literally have people walk away and throw their hands up, because now they're either going to intimidate people from helping them,
Mm-hmm.
or they're just going to think, oh, wow, that was a pretty, a mean thing to do.
Right. And we don't want that to happen.
No, absolutely not.
Like,
oh, it won't happen. It won't
Yeah.
happen here. You know, Tisha and I, my, what would you call her? We're in this Real Massacre Talk YouTube.
Co-founder.
Yes, co-founder. Sorry, I'm lost for words tonight. We've been doing this for a while. We've taken a lot of heat. There's been rumors, there's been lies, and we don't back down. We don't, because above all else, we are here to share the truth and to get it to people on these platforms as factually as possible, and to bring awareness to cases. So that is our sole purpose. And what they've done isn't going to stop me. If anything, it's just pissed me off. And when I get pissed off, yeah, I'm not even going to, it's just, they'll be hearing from me.
And as well, it should. And you know what? And I won't hesitate to say it at all. I would definitely just do a quick phone call if you can. And if not, afterwards, I'll text or talk to you about speaking with some counsel about what has taken place. Because you know what? While they're in their little dark corners, or wherever they are, sunlight or dark, it don't matter. But while they're scheming or doing whatever it is that they're doing, whoever started this whole thing or put this in motion, obviously is, I don't know, I just don't take chances with this kind of thing. And even hearing this, as a matter of fact, I saw the statement earlier, and thank you, Sheila's Pink Ladybug. I do appreciate your compliment earlier and what you said also, but I actually have some people off of YouTube that I do frequently speak to, because sometimes, it's always good to have legal counsel, just if in the event something bad happens, or accusations or anything like that are made, or it's just it pays to always have somebody has legal knowledge in your corner. But so if you need if you want to talk about that after the live or tomorrow sometimes or whatnot, it'd just be good to know, just to keep a sense of defense up a bit, because obviously now, I mean, I really should have watched that link that you sent, because I'm curious to see. That was from the news station that you sent?
Yeah.
And they actually cited you by name?
They put our pictures up there.
Wow.
Okay. They put our pictures up there with a screenshot.
Really? Okay. Well, yeah, it sucks for them. That's all I'm going to say on that. I'm not saying anything, and I'm not making any threats, but I'll tell you one thing, that don't sit well at all. And that's a pretty rotten thing to do towards some beautiful souls such as yourself, doing all that you've done and being so proactive and trying to help this family for as long as you have. It didn't start yesterday. You guys have been on it since the beginning. And
right.
There was a time that Danielle was on live. What was it? Every night for 6 nights straight.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Like 3 hours of sleep at night because you had to work the next morning?
Yeah.
And that's not counting the time that she spends preparing, or her team, spends preparing.
Right. And I mean, that doesn't include the time I take away from my own family. Not that,
right.
Nobody in my house sacrifices. Don't get me wrong. I would never let my children sacrifice for me to be here. But But at the same time, I take away from my own personal time, and that doesn't bother me. That's why I'm here. This is my passion. This is what I want to do in life. This is, something
Yeah.
I am pursuing on a further level, educational wise. And it's
Yeah.
just hurtful. It's
Yeah,
hurtful.
it is. And it's Saturday night. Did you go out
Right.
to dinner tonight? Did you
I
go to a
didn't.
movie?
I
Are you
didn't.
drinking wine with your girlfriends? Did you go get a mani-pedi? No. You've
Right.
spent all day working on this and now you're on here.
Right. So, it is what it is. And
that's another thing I wanted to say, just so that everybody knows, and for whatever whoever else offline may venture on later to listen, I rarely ever prep for being on a live at all. Usually it's always off the cuff, and I know sometimes people ask, how do I remember names or whatever else? Well, yeah, again, I've been dealing with people for so long and putting myself in certain situations.
it looks like it's KDVR. Is that Fox 31? Is
Yes.
anybody local? Okay, so that's
It
the same
is.
thing.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
kdvr.com is the URL.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marcy, that's exactly what she wrote. Urgent. This is not authorized by the family or law enforcement.
Oh,
Investigating
apparently.
journalism.
Okay.
What's wrong?
It looks like some of the Real Massacre Talk team has reached out to this specific journalist on my behalf because they know I'm on live. And I got a message back that she is removing the fraudulent from the story.
Oh, well, guess what? Too late for that.
Right.
You had your I'm
You know
sorry.
what? I need to I need to pause for a second because I need to screen
Sure.
record this before it's done. So if you guys, thank you.
100%. 100%.
And that's the issue that I have with certain reporters nowadays, that they're so headstrong about making ratings or whatever else that they are willing to sacrifice so much, and not even from their own brow, and not even from their own work. It's they want to throw people on the bus for ratings. What? Because it sounded good.
Yeah, they had nothing else to report tonight.
And you know what? Even if it comes down to ignorance or a lack of foresight, then guess what? Then maybe you need to really take some time and get a little bit better educated before.
A high school journalist knows how to cover a story.
Exactly.
What this isn't a news report. This is it's almost like an op-ed. It is a slanted piece of work. This is something that somebody should have paid for. This is a commercial. This isn't news.
Yeah, and I'm sure they heard the words like counsel and legal advice and all that. Now all of a sudden their antennae are up because they know there's a fine line between being a reporter and being a responsible reporter, and knowing the difference between an actual report and committing slander against somebody.
They took the phrase "ask forgiveness, not permission," and twisted it. You can't do that when you are when you hold journalistic or journalism credentials or press credentials. You can't do that. Nobody reached out. Yeah, I don't even know. I can't even tell you. There's probably 9 people on Danielle's team right now. And between the social media presence and the YouTube, I can count on my hand right now about 13 different ways. And I promise you, any time of day or night, somebody would have responded to our inquiry, because there's always somebody up.
I believe it. I believe it.
Right.
And that's being responsible. To me, that's why I've also given as much credit as I have to all of you for having your Facebook group and being able to go through so much information and yet still be responsible about sifting through what is fact, what is fiction, and then obviously deleting anything, anybody that comes on there starting trouble and all of that. I mean, the amount of responsibility and work that goes into just running a Facebook page, I imagine, has got to be a lot.
Well,
No
if this says anything, my team members had to send the live from last night to the reporter so that she could watch it, so that she could watch this live after she published this today.
Wow. Okay.
That's
Because as if YouTube's not free to everybody. Okay.
that's repulsing that she took somebody's word
Yep.
and
Well,
did
yeah.
not. And part of her job, that is part of her duty that she has as an employee of that news station. And I hope she's listening right now.
Right. And we all know that even if they take something down, it's always out there. Think about the Shane Carey interview and how you ripped it down.
Right.
And it was gone.
Yeah, it was gone very quickly, and I put it up, and I issued a statement that Real Massacre Talk was not taking a stance at this time. We were sharing it for informational purposes only, because everybody was just, and the comments on Shane's video are horrendous.
Right.
Horrendous, and he's a victim. So,
and it's going to be out there for the rest of his life.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You can't just delete something and say it's gone.
Yvette, they do have an ethical obligation, especially when it comes to reporting something like this. They can't just put something out there and say it's true and claim fraud, because somebody who has a powerful position in Texas and who is a spokesperson, an unofficial spokesperson for her niece, went to them because she's got some vendetta for some reason. And the bigger question should be is why? Why doesn't this family spokesperson, who is an aunt to Landon, why don't they want a reward for this kid?
Or why didn't they reach out to you and say, we've had, because of, we can't tell you why, but blah, 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 blah. None of that happened.
Right.
None of that happened. And that really, I mean, the family is culpable in the situation, but the end game is with the segment that went out on Fox 31 this evening.
Right.
That was their decision. That was a secondary, people already made their decisions about going out on social media and posting things, right? But it was another decision to run it on the news.
Right.
I'm pretty disappointed too, because honestly, out of all the major networks that are out there, I would actually watch Fox before any of the other networks if I had to make a decision, or if there were multiple TVs on and I'd
Me too.
Isn't their tagline fair and balanced?
Right.
It's something like that, but in this case, obviously, it's the furthest thing from balance, that's for sure. Because I can also accept the aunt behaving in a certain manner. Okay, I get that. But the moment that reporter had the information in her hand, it was her responsibility, as they are trained, to look into, to vet the story, to find sources, to do their research. And then at which time, then obviously they have their editor, they have their producer who looks into it, and then they give the okay and bring it there. So, there's multiple layers here. So there's no excuse to go ahead and blast good, kind-hearted YouTube channels such as yours, with all of you lovely souls doing what you do, over crap. It's the only thing you can call it. It's maddening at best. And for them, okay, now they're going to remove a word or whatever else. Well, guess what? Half the people that saw that report more than likely will not see that retraction.
No.
And that's why it's a big deal. And that's why you've got to be a bit more responsible. Do your damn research and get the facts. That's all we ask.
Right.
Danielle, did you see Manda Texas Gal's comment?
Let me look.
Or do you want me to read it to you? It says, the Fox 31 article specifically says Veronica Tuberville, I don't know if I'm saying her name right, Strickland Birkenstock, a family spokesperson, released a statement saying, "I'm not sorry for giving out her name. Gloves off." Well, I'll tell you what. I
Okay.
know what's going through Danielle's mind right now, and it's like it's go time.
Well, that's all right. Well, we won't. There's no
It's
no
okay.
meeting for us. We're all good.
Yeah, it's
We're all good.
okay.
We'll talk. We'll talk after the live stream. Like I said,
Yeah.
this is why, like I said, it pays to have good, solid people in your corner that know how to take on these kinds of situations.
Right.
So,
That was a horrible thing to say. Oh, she
Yeah,
says, no. Outside of the quotations, my own words. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Oh,
Thank
Amanda's
you.
taking her gloves off. I was gonna
Yeah.
say I'm
Yeah.
over here like ready to pull mine off. So thanks for clarifying.
Danielle was taking off her earrings.
I'm joking, guys.
She is
Joking.
calling World Star.
oh yeah.
Oh my lordy, gosh.
Yeah, but and this is the other issue that a lot of people have nowadays with certain news outlets and all. They have the capability of broadcasting basically to the world.
Yes.
And again, like I had said before, in 9 times out of 10, half the audience that saw the initial report never see the retraction. Or like in the case, like I used to follow all the newspapers from the New York Post, the Washington Post, you name it, the New York Observer, a whole bunch of them. And then when they finally find out days later, after all the damage is done, that somebody or a reporter was in the wrong, then they'll issue a very, very tiny retraction. And usually it's like halfway to 3/4 of the way in the back of the paper where nobody reads what.
Yeah. and it's always in like really, really tiny print that nobody can read.
Mm-hmm. And that's where, again, if somebody that rarely goes on lives, I mean, as you can tell, and I started saying earlier, I never prep for coming online. So a lot of times I get foot and mouth, or I say repetitive words, or I get a blank brain at times. But if we can figure these things out and we know that line that is literally drawn in the sand, not even drawn in the sand, but the legal line that's there between slander, libel, and all of that, and knowing how to be responsible and respectful not to commit those types of crimes, then why can't they? They have unlimited resources. They have unlimited amounts and wealth of knowledge and legal teams and all of that to advise them. And yet this is how they still act. And, it's 2020. We have never been more blessed by technology, and all of us walking around with a virtual library hanging on our hips or in our pockets or whatnot. And you can't take the time to figure out that 2 + 2 is 4, where you have to vet his story and find sources and then be able to confirm its legitimacy. I mean, come on. Just come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It is, and I feel very, very horrible for you, Danielle, and I do well to you, Amy. I mean, I'm only a guest here, and I do feel bad in many ways because, I did something I felt was, as Danielle said earlier, it was from the heart. It was impromptu. It was in the moment, and they take something so beautiful, something so genuine, something so sincere, and they turn it into something dark and evil, and trying to now paint your channel as being that way. That is so just maddening. And
Okay. Oh, Danielle saw it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine.
it's okay. That's fine. It
Oh,
really is.
so there's a Reddit thread saying, this is interesting. It is a post that looks like someone trying to deter the search away from Palmer Lake. Someone saying they have a kid that looks just like Gannon, and that they have a video of him walking funny and people were staring. They wonder if they should turn the video into the police or not.
Yeah. Even if, I mean, come on, why would that even be a question?
Yeah, that should absolutely be shared to the police. I would like the link to the Reddit thread.
And that's where God bless the authorities. It's in situations like this that their hands are tied because they can't be everywhere all the time. So
Right.
having all of these and all of you and everybody in chat out there, we never know who is going to pick up that one kernel of truth or that one article or that one quick post or
Right.
whatever it might be. It can
Well,
blow it wide open.
sometimes, unfortunately, too, they're just not up to speed with how to look for things or how Reddit works, or you know what I mean? Like, even if they, it's relatively new to a lot of detectives and people like that.
Okay, so Anne is saying that was a lady saying that is her son. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely still want to read it. That's an interesting thread for sure, it sounds like. But
And on the note about or what you said, you were talking about the billboard and then the family not wanting a reward established or anyone creating something like that. That leads me to reflect upon another situation, a case that we were working 2 years ago. It was. It reminds me maybe the cops have a lot more, and obviously they do, than they're telling the public because it's an ongoing investigation and all. But maybe they are putting their ducks in a row to take another route with this case. Just because it's baffling almost, and I get also there's another side of that, and that being that the second you start off from rewards and all that, you get tips from all over the place. Like it'll quadruple, it'll immediately shoot. Oh, the tip lines will probably be overloaded and all that from people. And then again, they've got to research and investigate each and every single tip that's called in. And I get that. But as to why, and obviously there's some kind of thought behind making the acts and what happened last night into this morning out to be something so evil. I mean, there's got to be some drive behind that as well. So, but I do the end all be all of this. It begins and ends with that reporter, and not to mention too, it's Fox. It's on them. They approved the story, and now just drug your name through the mud. The whole entire channel through the mud, including everybody that comes here and even wants
including you. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
So it's a shame. What are your thoughts? Amy and I were speaking about this earlier. They haven't established a reward for Gannon, which I do find odd personally after following so many cases. And, there's the baby Evelyn who is missing in Tennessee right now that was reported earlier this week. And there's already like a $33,000 reward for her right now.
Mm-hmm.
So in most cases, I mean, there was most, I think every case I've ever followed of a missing child, there is a reward. So Amy and I were talking about this earlier. While law enforcement hasn't established a reward, and we know that resources such as Crime Stoppers are available, law enforcement has to reach out to them, but there's many instances where private investigators have established their own reward outside of law enforcement.
As have businessmen, politicians.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and I can't remember the one that we referenced earlier when we were talking, but I mean, this one said, send your tips to this private investigator or whatever. And I think that's very interesting because the narrative that they're trying to create, one, is that we created a fraudulent reward, which is absolutely untrue. And they're also trying to create, I feel, the narrative that there cannot be a reward created by private citizens, and that's absolutely not true.
That bothers me even more.
There is a legal way to create a reward fund. There is. And, there is a proper protocol to follow and everything that you have to do it legally. And I'm not saying that we're doing that by any means, because to be honest with you right now at this point, I don't even like saying the word reward, even though I do believe that Gannon deserves one. But anybody could establish a reward fund for Gannon. And there's not really anything that can be done about it.
Nope. And that's why we live in one of the best countries in the world, because we have that right and we have that freedom, as long as obviously nobody ever interferes with an ongoing criminal or investigation, general investigation, then you're fine to do so. But
Right.
the fact, again, it just they're going to be pushing people away left and right. But then again, there may be ulterior motives here. Again,
Right.
maybe the investigators are already on a different route with this, and that's why they're back at the house, obviously taking in more evidence or trying to process the scene for any possible clues or tips from there. And,
Right. Right.
but yeah, you're right. I mean, the fact that there's been rewards offered for cases for as far back as I can ever remember. So as to why
Me too.
when
I
somebody
was
makes a simple pledge, all of a sudden that gets drugged through the mud and deemed
right.
evil is just beyond me.
Right. And it was a verbal statement.
Mhm.
You know, and I 100% owned that the way I titled it, you know, I used the word reward, and hindsight's 2020. I probably shouldn't use that word in there. I get it. It was 4:00 in the morning, but there was no nefarious intent on my part. It was
Exactly. But then also, if they just would have listened, they would have heard that nobody
right.
said the word reward.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it was an offer for to just bring him home, and that was it. You know, it wasn't
Right.
an immediate, oh my God, we're establishing this big old thing, and everybody donate to it and all that.
Right. Right. I mean, and even at the end of the clip that I cut from the original live, the number to El Paso County Sheriff is scrolling. So, you know, that number goes directly to El Paso County Sheriff for tips or leads.
Yep.
In no way
I
were any
believe I
tips or leads directed to us or anything like that. So it's just,
As you say, I believe I said the same thing as well. That, you know, people were to obviously get in touch with the sheriff's department and all walk up to an investigator, you know, on scene if you have to, but just make it happen by any means necessary. And that was that. And then obviously it said after the fact, anybody could contact you once all of that is said and done. And then obviously, yeah, they get whatever they get. But as I said earlier, it's just had to be made a big old fiasco that is totally unnecessary.
right. Right.
How that slipped through, and again, in this day and age of everything that has happened in this current media environment, I mean, you would think by now that they would know better than just to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Yeah.
it is very disheartening in many ways, but at the same time, it just pisses me off too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a legitimate question, Maui girl. I do. I think that's a legitimate question, but I don't think that they're going to give us an answer. You know, I did say earlier that even though we have these questions and they are legitimate questions, at the same time, we have to respect law enforcement's efforts. There has to be a reason. There has to be a reason.
Oh, there always is. And again, I just want to make one thing clear: in no way, shape, or form, even since I started listening to you on this channel and everybody here on this channel, I've never in any way, shape, or form ever heard or even thought for a moment that you were ever trying to interfere with their investigation or had any ill will or even negativity towards what had been taking place so far. But of course, yes, we can all get impatient and feel helpless and just keep trying to keep up the good fight. But
There are things that come across in the group chat that, you know, we hear from or heard from other places or whatever. And if they can't be verified, Danielle doesn't even bring it up here.
Right.
She doesn't even bring it up at all. And it's just, maybe I see it from a different side, and I see the responsibility that she takes in doing this show. This
Tonight it's
channel.
become a show, hasn't it?
It's become some kind of show, I'll tell you that. But I already
Oh,
said
boy.
2 bad words tonight, so I might have to go hang out with some sailors later.
Oh,
Keep
boy.
it up.
Get your dish soap out.
I know, right? But
I was gonna say, right before I came on panel, I heard you say a choice word, and I was like, "Oh boy, she's mad."
I just told him I took off my earrings, and somebody offered me a ponytail holder. So, yeah, I'm not that kind of girl. I wouldn't last a minute. I'd be like, and run. But yeah, it's just, yeah, and Mata just said it. It's ridiculous what this is turned into. It really is. And if you knew the amount of information that sits on the side that can't be verified, that can't be vetted, that we have no idea if it's true or not, and there's just no way to find out, or it's hearsay, and it would be so tempting, so tempting to go on and give the juicy scoop, but that's not what she's here for.
Exactly, and that's another reason why I respect you gals so much and this channel as much as I do, because again, I don't know, you can say I'm a pretty curious type of person. I've followed many channels, and again, so far I've not heard any conspiracy theories or any nonsense talk, and I give you all the credit in the world. You've really done a good job, and not for nothing, but maybe the people over there at that news station should take some notes off of y'all. How's that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think, I'm an amateur, but I know the difference between right and wrong, and I have morals, and I do think that is a standard that needs to be upheld with mainstream media.
Yes.
They can't just, I don't know if they thought that it would be okay and that I wouldn't notice, or that I wouldn't bring it to their attention because I'm not a journalist like they are. I don't know, but it was this was the wrong channel to do that too.
Well, how about putting your face and my face, and unfortunately the puppy dog's face, up on TV and saying that, we're engaging in fraudulent activity,
Right.
and somebody saying we're extorting people. I'm not okay with that.
Mm-mm. And the more that you say that, as a matter of fact, and I'm going to make this claim right now, and good job, Miss Reporter Woman, because I am going to be making a phone call after this live, because that to me, the fact that I don't care if it's a profile pic or what, and I don't care if it's just an online name or handle or whatever it is. You know what? There's got to be some responsibility over this matter, and it's got to be had. And the fact that they're going to sit there and use that live and add that word extortion to it, wrong move.
Right. And I mean, yeah, I'm very upset about my picture being put up there. I mean, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, technically it's out there and it's fair use, but not when you're making an accusation like that, an unfounded accusation. And quite honestly, the way that people jumped on the bandwagon today, sorry, I'm just going to say it. Veronica was driving the tractor and everybody climbed on. I don't think half the people making the comments on social media today watched the video.
Right.
And to me, and this might sound a little odd, but even if it was just the family member there going off on social media or whatever else, you know what, I might even be semi understanding and might even, I might have to bite my tongue a little bit, but the fact that the news did what they did, that's just a whole another level of disrespect that should have never happened in it. That's the antithesis of being irresponsible.
I'm not happy what was said on social media today, but I did say earlier, perhaps I have empathy. It was an emotional response. It was a manic response. It was a reactionary response. Doesn't make it right, but I can kind of consider that. But for a reporter to do this is unacceptable and
Yeah.
irresponsible. I keep saying the same two words. It really, it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
It just still makes me scratch my head that something so genuine and pure and heartfelt was has been taken to this level.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But that's all right. Again, it's another moment in life, and it too, like all others, it will pass. But you know what? The fact, and I am going to watch that report, and I'll be recording that report, and we will see what happens. But if, and I'll just say it, give a hypothetical, but if I was that reporter, I'd be issuing a public apology ASAP that includes both of your names. I don't care if they include me or not, because you know what? That's just how I am. Okay, I don't, whatever it is, what it is. But to me, I'm upset because they drug your channel that you have so much work into, and not to mention you got your Facebook, and basically your lives are wrapped up into all of this. And here I was a guest on here, and now all of a sudden, because of a moment in time, it was meant to be so good, was twisted into something so evil. And
Yeah. Why?
yeah,
Why?
exactly. I think you said it best earlier for ratings. For ratings, either that, it's either that, or it's just there's a whole nother level of incompetence here. And if that's the case, well, then guess what? I don't think somebody should be on that type of, or in that type of level at their job. They shouldn't be assigned with that job if they can't take the responsibility seriously and do their due diligence. And again, I know I keep saying the same word too. Be responsible about it. Do what they train you to do. You must
This
vet
felt,
these stories.
yeah, this fell through more than one crack. I mean,
Yeah.
reporters, when they present a story or a segment, it has to be approved by the news director, the producer. I mean, this this wasn't one little mistake at a news station.
No, I was saying that the same thing earlier. It's that's where it gets even more upsetting and maddening, because it went through so many levels to get it to live broadcast. But it doesn't matter if it was 4 minutes or 4 hours. The damage is done. The damage is done. So,
Right. Right. So
mm-mm-mm.
I have this reporter messaging me now, and I'm not sure
I
how I'm
hope
going to
she's
handle this.
apologizing.
She has not. So,
Okay, well, that's fine.
yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but I'm definitely going to keep my options open, whether there's a public apology or a retraction issued or not, because it's wrong.
I just say it, and obviously, maybe she's listening to this right now. That was a pretty crappy thing to do over something so genuine, miss. You know,
Yeah,
I don't
maybe you
know
should
you from
drop her a
Adam,
link to
but
the live.
for all of what we did, if you simply would have watched it, you would have seen nobody asked anybody for anything. I did this because it was something good to do, and it was in the moment.
Right.
And again, nobody put any links out. Nobody asked for anything. Nobody demanded anything. There was nothing like that at all. And if you simply would have done your due diligence and watched instead of just rolled with it, we
Right.
wouldn't be where we are right now. And it's not my fault. It's not Danielle's fault. It's not Amy's fault. That's for sure. That's on you. That's on you. It began and obviously didn't end there. But so I just think it's a pretty crappy thing to do for all the good things the two of you have done here, and everybody else for that matter. It just doesn't even stop there. It just disrespects your whole entire Facebook group. It disrespects everybody that is affiliated or attached to this channel in any way, shape, or form. That he's devoted and dedicated so much time into finding Gannon.
It disrespected the people in our chat who are being generous and supportive in their comments. Trying to choose my words carefully. But yeah, and then there were a lot of people earlier today when Danielle was, trying to do some clarification, that were genuinely hurt. by what happened, and and that hurt goes all the way up to Danielle and her
Right.
team. And ultimately, I mean, this is just it's beyond gross, is what it is.
You're 100% correct about that. But hey, on that note, I'm actually going to get to work.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
appreciate
have to get
you
off of here as well.
having me on, and yeah, I'll definitely be in contact with you, Daniel. I
Thank
really
you.
will.
Thank you. Feel
And
free
to
to.
everybody in the chat, from Doodlebug to D-Cause, Raquel, and all of you, much love, and definitely appreciate all the support, all the compliments. Thank you for obviously standing behind Danielle and Amy here and the channel. And I know I don't have to, but I I want to apologize for all the things that have happened. I know it's not my fault, but it's pretty crappy that it had to get to where it is now over something that was so genuine. And I definitely, it just warmed my heart to see everybody that was pledging as well, and just out of their own free will and kindness, doing what took place, and for that to have been taken, and that was actually fraudulently manipulated into something it definitely wasn't, is disgusting. And
Right.
frankly, it's just,
It's also surreal. It really.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But
It
Less
is.
than
thank you
less than
too.
24 hours ago we were sitting here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on, True Helper. I will be in touch with you. I appreciate you coming on very much.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. I
Thank
definitely
you
do.
so much.
And thank you, Amy. You're very welcome. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
You guys, I'm reading your comments in the chat like while I'm trying to listen, and I just thank you for being so supportive of Danielle and so kind. And
Yes, thank you guys very much. I'm very
I'm sorry you were hurt in the process too. I
oh,
know.
thank you. It's not your fault. I'm very honored to have all of you down in the chat, and your support means more than you will ever know. It's just been a rough a rough day, I should say, you know.
It is. It's
It's
something you never expect to happen. We were on such a high last night thinking this was such a wonderful thing. And I think that's the thing about this, Danielle, is that we always look around this world and we talk about random acts of kindness and why can't people support each other, and why can't people give somebody a hand up instead of a handout, and all those little phrases that people use. And then something just magical happened last night, and somebody has to turn it into something ugly.
right. It's sad. It's very disheartening, but we will not stop talking about Gannon. We won't stop bringing awareness to his case. Even if there's nothing to talk about, I will get on here and talk about something, I promise. I'm just grateful for everybody in the chat and everybody who's stuck with us tonight, because I truly did not expect this live to take this turn. I did not see this coming. I thought we had resolved this issue earlier. And, I'm going to sleep tonight with a clean conscience.
Me too.
My heart is genuine. Nothing wrong was done on behalf of Real Massacre Talk. Nothing was done wrong on behalf of myself, Amy, Tisha, my co-founder of Real Massacre Talk, True Helper. We did nothing wrong.
Your
We did nothing
team.
wrong.
Yeah.
If it's wrong to have a good heart, then I don't want to be right. So,
Very well said.
with that said, if you guys can just drop some love for Gannon
Tisha
down there.
Renee.
I love Tisha down there.
She's like, who, me?
Drop some love for Gannon. Keep his name out there. Keep the awareness out there. You know how to find our Facebook group. We'd love to have you in there. is anything that I can bring to you that is factual and true, I will do that 100%. And I'm so thankful for all of you being here. I wish that we could share more details about Gannon's case. I truly do. But until then, here we are, and we'll just keep plugging along and keeping his name out there. And I think it's really sad that Amy removed her profile picture because of Fox 31 News.
I didn't. It was just so you know, I didn't do that on purpose. I hit it accidentally with my thumb. And I don't know what happened. And then my camera turned on and I was like, no.
Aw, Des Harris, I love you guys too. Thank you. Just remember, this is for Gannon. This is for Gannon. So maybe some random person will stumble across these YouTube videos and they will, one more person will learn about Gannon's case.
Yes. That's the hope.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Well, I love you, Danielle. Good night. Thank you for having me.
I love you too.
And
good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm sure I'll be back soon. Not tonight, though.
No.
Have a good night. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's a new day.
That's
and thank you all so much again. You're amazing.